Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorby, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeartMedia studios, worldwide through yorbamedia.com. I'm joined on the show right now with Richard Dubi, CEO, Parks by Nature Network. This is a really cool company, Richard. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate the invitation. Thank you.
Before we get into the company and what you do and all the technology, give our audience a flavor of who's steering the boat, where you come from, a little bit of background, and then I definitely want everybody to know what your company does.
Sure. Well, I started my career in the professions. I was a CPA and then went on to law school, and I was a practicing attorney since 1990. So I've lived my life in the professional arena and have been instrumental in helping lots of clients, lots of companies grow, and it really sparked my entrepreneurial instincts. And about 5 years ago, we started up Parks by Nature Network.
Okay. What is it? What does Parks by Nature do?
Well, we are mobile app developers for a very excited branded product called Pocket Ranger. Pocket Ranger is an interactive mobile platform for the state park visitors and also for the state's fishing and wildlife agencies. And we make the product on behalf of the states, and we actually have official state contracts that join our network. Currently, we have the largest network of government contracts in the history of mobile. We have approximately 32 state park systems in our network and 18 fish and wildlife agencies, and growing. The Pocket Ranger apps are available on Apple, on Android, on Kindle tablet, and we're actually developing the Microsoft platform as well. So we are the largest in the space.
Wow! All right, how did you guys get this started, and what's the purpose of the apps that go out to all of the different parks that you're talking about?
Sure. Well, we started, actually, my partner, Brett Malillo, he didn't have an aha moment. We always tell him he had a eureka moment while he was waiting online to get his first iPhone about 5 years ago. He realized that there's this thing called mobile apps that were about to take over the whole society. As people were migrating away from their desktops onto mobile, he realized that there's a sweet spot here. And we identified a big problem with the state park systems. They had these antiquated websites that were very difficult to navigate, and they had all this information, but they had no method to disseminate that information. Similarly, the users, the park visitors, had no way of obtaining this type of information at their fingertips. I'm speaking of just general park information, hours of operations, maps, trails, rules and regulations for fishing and wildlife. It's a big audience. And we decided to build the mobile platform on behalf of the states to marry that problem and solve that problem so that the user now, the park visitors, now with the help of Pocket Ranger, now has all this information at their fingertips, and we took over all the IT burden for the states.
I was going to say, so all the people that are in the parks now, I mean, they have no idea how many more things they can do in the park outside of the brochure, and then you don't carry the brochure when you're hiking, so this just straightens it all out for them and gives them multiple choices, what I'm getting.
As a matter of fact, and it's such a utilitarian product that people use it during their planning stage, they use it while in the parks, and then they use it to socially network by sharing photos and videos on our Pocket Ranger platform. When I was a kid, Michael, a trip wasn't official until you bought a hat or a T-shirt.
Right.
Now a trip's not official until you post a picture or a video somewhere. So what we did was we tied in this entire outdoor community, and we became the go-to venue, or at least we aspire to be the go-to venue for the entire outdoor audience. Let me just give you a flavor of what that looks like. Last year, the state park visitors, just the paid visitors, were 351 million. That is a larger audience than your four major league sports combined, more than Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NBA, and the NHL combined. This is much more than a picnic table. And this audience now had no single voice for to learn information. It's more than just hiking, biking. The app is highly, highly functioning where you can search by activities, or you can search by a geographic area with using our GPS technology, or if you knew the name of the park or the facility, there's a directory. So it's a very, very high-functioning product, and we're finding that people use it now in their planning, during, and after. So it's very exciting, and the states are thrilled to be in our platform.
I can see they're not the only ones who will be excited, because that size of a market, that focused of a market, the advertising possibilities for all of the suppliers of sportswear, the canoes, you name it, that goes along with the outdoor activities it's got to be huge for you.
You're exactly right, Michael. Last year, there was approximately $18 billion spent on mobile advertising alone. So it begs the question, why are sponsors now, advertisers, migrating to mobile? The reality is that if you want to reach the consumer, mobile is where you need to be. And if you want to reach the outdoor active consumer, Pocket Ranger is a hell of a place to be. And people are spending 3-4 hours a day on their phones in total. And I don't have to tell you about the smartphone penetration. I think 2 out of every 3 people in the country have smartphones. I mean, I'm a family with 3 young kids, and all my kids have phones as well. So we're 5, and there's 5 phones. So it's just a new world now.
Let's talk about your business model when it comes to, say, e-commerce that goes along with your app.
Sure. So we built a very highly sustainable model. What we did was we give the product to the states for free. It's a $0 cost contract. Costs them nothing. We then do all the IT heavy lifting. It costs them nothing. It's on our back. And we give it to the user for free. It's downloadable. Just search Pocket Ranger. We have about 45 apps on the market with another 12 in the queue. So now that we have this huge network, we now approach corporate sponsors, those forward-looking sponsors that want to get through all the clutter. And they're joining our program now to advertise, to expose their brand of goods and services to our community of users. We spent the first 5 years building the network. It's what I call the awareness stage. Now I believe we're entering the commerce stage. So as you aptly asked me about e-commerce, we're now developing our entire transactional platform. That would be reservations, being able to buy hunting and fishing licenses and permits. Soon you'll be able to get beach passes and parking passes and event permits and equipment rentals and a whole host of transactions on behalf of the state agencies to help them generate revenues. Plus, we also now are developing our own. It's a local deals. It's a way for local merchants and local vendors to now generate transactions to the outdoor visitor, and it's all for the user experience. It's all for the benefit of the user. You want to go fishing, rather than look for a retail store to say, well, where do I get a fishing license, or have to sift through all the onerous rules and regulations. It's right there contained in your app. You can acquire your hunting license and fishing permit right from your phone. It then serves to help law enforcement, because if you were fishing in an area that needed a permit and you didn't have one, law enforcement there could document that, or more appropriately, encourage you to download the app and acquire the license to generate revenues. So it helps the user in that regard.
Well, you can stay out of trouble with this. Oh, yeah. There he is. Hang on a second. Click. Yep, there it is. Just show him your fishing license on your phone.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
You never get caught with your pound sound with this.
No. So that's a very exciting aspect to it. And then what we do is we actually do a revenue share, and we give back to the states a portion of our revenues to help them sustain their park properties and their facilities, not on the backs of the taxpayers. So that's a really that's a feel-good aspect to what we're doing.
Wow. Wait a minute. Are you still private?
Yes, we are still private.
Is there any way somebody could buy into this deal? Because this is amazing.
Well, you share our enthusiasm. We're private, but we're actually in the midst of doing a capital raise now privately, So if anybody is interested, they can reach me. I can give you my email address if you like.
Sure, or Parks by Nature.
Or, parksbynature.com or richd@parksbynature.com. We're growing exponentially now.
All right. Well, now I'm by no ways finished asking you questions because I want to dive into the technology on the other segment so that we can talk about what you're bringing to the market. Because you mentioned it. Here's, you hit the highlights on it, but let's dive into it about the photo sharing, the social apps, the satellite mapping, and then how the retail part of this thing gets into the phone as you're going through the different parts of the different parks. Okay.
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back on the other side of this break with Rich Dubi, Chief Executive Officer of ParksByNature.com, product PocketRanger.com, brought to you by Brian Emerson of StarlightCapital.com.